What's going on, guys? Crypto Renegade here for you. In today's video, I wanted to do a quick comparison and update of two very similar hardware wallets, the Cobo Vault Pro, which is in my right hand, and the new Keystone Pro on my left hand. If you've heard of either of these devices, you definitely don't want to miss what I have to say. Stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. So before I jump into the content, just want to reference pinned in the comments is my new ebook on the 7 best ways to secure your crypto, updated for 2021. It's 100% free, so check it out and we will jump right into the content. Just to kind of give you a quick update or recap in case you haven't caught up, Cobo Vault is no longer continuing to develop its hardware wallets, and the Keystone is basically the same device. In almost 99% of it is identical, and I'll point out the small differences right now in a minute. But basically, just to give you a recap here, Cobo Vault Pro, if you own this device, it's still going to be maintained and your coins are still safe. There's just no longer going to be any new devices, new updates. Anything that you have will be maintained for a certain period of time. Ultimately, what's going to happen is in 2 to 3 years from now, it may be discontinued. The good news is if you own a Cobo Vault Pro and you're interested in getting a Keystone Pro, you can right now switch it over and get 50% off on the Keystone, and I'll explain why you would want to do that in a minute. But I just wanted to point out that that's why these look very similar. Basically, what we're looking at here is the Keystone Pro and the Cobo Vault Pro are very similar in terms of their form factor and design. We're gonna touch on the 3 categories that I typically do, but it will be a variation. We're gonna touch on the physical design, form factor. I'm gonna point out the differences of these devices. And then if you wanna see the full individual reviews for these, I'll link them down below in the description. But basically, as you can see, these are very, very similar. Very same fingerprint sensor on the back, as you can see here. They have the camera for QR code scanning, etc. The only physical difference that you're gonna notice here is that on the Keystone Pro, the SD card slot has now been moved to the outside for easier access. Whereas in the Cobo Vault Pro, it's underneath the battery pack. So if you want to upgrade firmware or if you want to transmit any data, you'd actually have to remove the device, remove the battery, then do it and repower it on. So the user experience is actually going to be better on the Keystone Pro here because you don't have to turn off the device and repower it up and re-authenticate and so on. So honestly, that's the only physical difference. It's the same 4-inch touchscreen display. It's the same overall design here, and as you can see here, the layout is very similar. Cobo Vault Pro still has an iOS and Android app. The Keystone now has an iOS or Android app. They, again, 99% is identical and very similar. There's just a few key differences, like I said, in the physical form factor that I just pointed out, and that's mainly just the SD card slot. There's also an upgraded battery and a little more of an efficient fingerprint sensor on the new Keystone Pro. So some slight physical improvements. They both have the single button up top here. So there's a few things in terms of coin support and features that I wanted to point out. So for example, on the Cobo Vault Pro here, the IOST coin and the XCZ coin are no longer supported on the Keystone Pro. So what I wanted to point out here is that there's a few slight differences in terms of coin support. Also, Cobo Vault Pro does not have any staking, and since it's been discontinued, it's not going to add staking. On the Keystone Pro over here, there's new coins that are being added. For instance, Polkadot right here, which currently has staking support. Kusama and staking support is coming, as well as a lot of other new coins as well. Just wanted to point that out. They've dropped a few coins on the new device, and there's still some legacy coins on the Cobo Vault Pro that are still being supported. Overall design and layout is basically the same. It says Keystone at the top here, and at the top here, it's completely blank. Obviously, the branding for Cobo Vault and the Keystone on the bottom obviously has changed. The one thing that I did want to point out in terms of its functionality, in terms of the software and the firmware and so on, is like I mentioned, Cobo Vault Pro here is being discontinued. What that means is if you own this device currently, it will be maintained in terms of the current support and app and so on for at least 1 to 2 years. After that, there's no guarantees. I'm gonna leave a link with the explanation in the description, but basically if you wanna switch over and get a new Keystone Pro, which will be regularly updated, which will add staking, which will add new coins, and so on, you can get 50% off, and I will link the instructions on how to do that below. With that said, On the Keystone, you're gonna have obviously a few new coins. There's gonna be staking added on those new coins. And the main feature beyond that is the Keystone is now gonna be supporting DeFi. What I mean by that is that with the MetaMask integration, there's a wireless integration that you can use for example, if you wanna use Uniswap, if you wanna use any other type of online wallet or decentralized exchange or any DeFi protocols that use MetaMask, you can use that wirelessly because these are both air-gapped devices. You can use that wirelessly on the Keystone. You cannot do that on the Cobo Vault. So that's actually a very key feature if you like to use Uniswap, getting any new ERC20 tokens, so on and so forth. The other thing here that I wanted to point out as far as the difference is Cardano is coming as well as staking onto the Keystone, and that's not a coin. If you even care about that coin, that's not gonna be on Cobo Vault Pro, obviously. Since this one is no longer being updated, it's just gonna be maintained. I'm very excited for the update. I actually had a chat with the owner of Keystone and kind of explained where the roadmap is and where it's headed, and I'm very bullish on where that is, and that's why I wanted to do this video. Is if you own a Cobo Vault Pro, you may want to consider, paying the half price essentially to upgrade to Keystone, because this is going to be supported for years and years to come. Whereas Cobo Vault, if you currently have it, it will technically still work at least for the next 1 to 2 years. However, it's very easy for you to import your wallet or your coins or private keys from Cobo Vault to Keystone, and I'll probably do a video on that in the future. Obviously, you can't buy new Cobo Vault Pro anymore. The price on this one is $169 is the full price. I'm gonna have links for these in the description as well, which will always give you the best discounts and the most up-to-date pricing and deals and promos and so on and so forth. So make sure to check that out down below. Ultimately, the full price on either of these devices is $169. I know right now there's a promo where you can get it for $149, so there is a slight discount, as well as 50% off of that if you switch from Cobo Vault to Keystone Pro. Obviously with the Keystone, you still have the entry level, which is the Keystone Essential, that removes the fingerprint authenticator, and it also removes the rechargeable battery pack. So that comes in cheaper at $119 as the standard price. And then there's a Keystone Ultimate, which comes with a rugged protector case, a metal recovery seat backup, and a few other features and bonuses as well for $479. It's the most rugged and most secure. I just wanted to do a quick update. I know these are basically identical. Like I said, 99% of this is the same, with the main key difference is this is going by the wayside in terms of update, coin support, and future development. And there's a lot of exciting new coins, staking, and DeFi options that are coming to Keystone, and they're actually gonna be rolled out very, very shortly. Coin support is gonna be basically the same. Your basic ERC20 tokens, your Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash. Decree is no longer offered on the Keystone, but Polkadot, Kusama, a lot of the new DeFi coins, and earning staking interest as well. Tron, TRX, and any of those tokens are gonna be supported as well. And then there's gonna be new coins added all the time. But I just wanted to I know this is sort of a different comparison video, but I just wanted to kind of point out the key and main differences and points on the Cobo Vault Pro versus the Keystone Pro, and where the development is going, where the updates are going. And again, don't panic if you already have a Cobo Vault Pro. It's still gonna technically work at least for the next few years, and you can always import your coins to a new wallet. If you're interested in either one of these wallets, obviously you wanna buy the Keystone. It's gonna give you the best deal, the future updates, and it's something that I obviously have and use myself as well. As far as the functionality, it's air gap. So for example, you generate an address, Ethereum, you use your phone to scan the QR code to send from your phone to this air gap device as well. And it's completely managed offline. There's no Wi-Fi, no cellular, no Bluetooth, no wireless connectivity whatsoever. It's just the camera on the back, and then is signed and authenticated with your fingerprint authenticator. Just a single button to turn it on the top here, and then your fingerprint on the back to open it up. Also, just so you know, there is a haptic feedback, and there's a little vibration built-in motor, so that every time you punch in something or that you unlock it, it will actually vibrate and essentially give you feedback, kind of like Touch ID or other things on your iPhone, to let you know that a press has happened or what have you. Just wanted to point that out. Obviously, these are mid-tier and mid-level devices. I'm gonna go ahead and link above my video here of the Keystone versus the Elapal Titan, which is very similar, and I will see you guys in that video right now. Crypto Renegade out.